Hello everyone, and welcome back to Make Your Mind. This one was a fun one. Oh boy. Once again, this is another viewer-requested sculpture showcase, and the viewer in question for this is the viewer insert funny name. You've been trolling me and teasing me at making this, and I'm sorry that it's taken me this long. But I hope you like it. So this, as you probably noticed, I'm just fixing the pedestal here, making it look good. There we go. You probably saw these two. These are my peepers. I got my regular peeper from the Tropical 4546B. And I have the Arctic peeper from the recently released, fully released, Subnautica Below Zero. But these two pale in comparison to the sculpture that I'm about to show today. Now, there have been some depictions of this creature, but this creature is... I mean, it's a fan favorite, more or less. There have been some mods in the past that have created this creature. But I'm here to show you my depiction of this creature today. I decided to take designs from both of these peepers and sort of combine them into a version that I think would be extremely recognizable, but would also be just absolutely awesome. And it would be fitting of the name. And that very name is the Peeper Leviathan. But just to give you a little context here as to how big the Peeper Leviathan is, let me go ahead and move this back. Let me bring out an old favorite, shall we? I've had this sculpture sitting on my shelf. This is the sculpture of my reef back. As you can see, I got it under there. Got all that under there. Such a cool looking thing. Oh, and by the way, if you want to see the video of the full video that I did of the reef back, click this link right up here. So go click that up there if you want to go check out the reef back. But if you've already seen it, then you know what's coming next. So imagine, if you will, here's your regular peeper, and there's your Arctic peeper. But imagine a peeper that is as big, if not bigger, than the reef back. And by bigger, I'm not kidding. There it is. This is my depiction of a Peeper Leviathan. Look at this thing. As you can see, it is way bigger than your typical peeper, but it still has many of the peeper features. As you can see, it is still purple in color, but it is much more faded, and it has this little bit of iridescent white. Let me smooth that out real quick. There we go. As you can see, it has that little bit of iridescent white on the inside there. As you can see, it has more gills. It actually has one extra gill compared to the 3 on the others. It also has these extra guide fins. And it has this sort of semi-dorsal fin on the back that almost looks like a crown, which you could definitely say that this would be the king or queen of the peepers. But as you can see, this peeper still retains its original beak. And like the Arctic peeper, it has these white colorations that surround its eyes, and also colorations that go up its bottom and top dorsal fins. It also has these longer trailing fins, very similar to the Arctic, where it swims along, and of course, the reason why they call it the peeper, the eye. As you can see, the eye almost has a ghostly appearance. It has the same sort of orange and black, but it's been swapped. So I have the orange and black swapped around, and then it has a white pupil on the inside. And that's so when this creature is swimming around in the void, because of course, the Peeper Leviathan wouldn't be anywhere else other than the void. It has a wide eye that is a reflective lens that is capable of seeing for up to... it can see essentially up to 12 miles away. It's the largest and most powerful eyeball in the universe. At least in the Subnautica universe, anyway. And it was a creature that is... it both hunts smaller prey, and is one of the hardest creatures to hunt because of the fact that its eye is so incredibly huge. And of course, like the other side, it's got that same eyeball. Mess around with some of these. Well, the tribal design is in order to break up the shape. Essentially makes the creature look slightly bigger than it actually is. And this creature swims around in a very slow, graceful manner. And the other thing is that the Peeper Leviathan, in fact, is also capable of carrying enzyme 42, even though only the tiny peepers are the ones that can actually give it. But the Peeper Leviathan can actually get the enzyme 42 from the smaller peepers in a sort of symbiotic exchange, and can actually send enzyme 42 to the void. That's even if the Corabacterium hasn't even made it that far, but it still has that capability. Because the Peeper is one of the only creatures that can actually carry enzyme 42 to spread it across, other than the Sea Emperor itself. But man, so yeah, think of this. You've got this as your Peeper Leviathan. And then here's a reefback, just to give you a size comparison. So this creature is comparable in size to a reefback. And heck, I would even go as far as to say that it's as big as this. Let's see, who is bigger? I'm grabbing my other sculptures here from my shelf. Come here, Reefy. Go over here. Go over with me a little bit. There we go. Put you to the side. Let's see who's big. Oh, the Peeper Leviathan is bigger. I can already tell. But here's my sculpture of the bloop. I have him on a pedestal here. Look at that. So the Peeper Leviathan is actually bigger than the bloop. But could you imagine that? Could you imagine this for a half a second? Let me go ahead and put the bloop back over here so you can show the mouth. There's the mouth. That big gaping maw that is the bloop. Could you imagine for half a second if you were swimming in the void and you looked down into the endless darkness and you saw an eyeball? An eyeball that big. I mean, look at the size of the bloop, and imagine seeing an eyeball that big. I mean, it's an eyeball that's even bigger than the eyeball in the Gargantuan Leviathan. That's what's so insane, and that would really be the only creature. I mean, in all honesty, the Gargantuan is the only thing that could actually hunt and eat the Peeper Leviathan with any sort of success. Once again, the Peeper Leviathan would be the king, essentially, of all Leviathans, with the exception, of course, of the Gargantuan, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, they may even consider... The Gargantuan may not even be a Leviathan. It may actually even be considered a Titan, which is just... I mean, that would make sense, of course. But check that out, man. That's so cool. There have been a couple of other depictions of the Peeper Leviathan. There was a mod that came out a couple years back that actually took the mechanics of the Reaper and actually took some of the colors of the Reaper and put them on an enlarged Peeper. Where the Peeper, instead of it having an eye like this, it had a green eye with black in the middle, and then it had a red body with sort of white colorations on it, so it would actually look like the Reaper, which I think is really cool. But I don't know whatever came of that mod. It may still be available. I'm not exactly sure. But there was a couple of people. I know for a fact that The Last Bacon did a video talking about the Peeper Leviathan. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. You can go check that out. And but there you have it. So insert funny name. There you go. The Peeper Leviathan. I hope this is a depiction that you like. This was sort of my own design, which is a sort of take of what a Peeper Leviathan would actually look like. And the other thing that would be awesome is if this actually had colorations that would move and sort of break up the outline so you couldn't see exactly how big this was. But with an eyeball that huge, I think most predators would just be scared just to see that. I mean, imagine looking up from looking down and seeing an eyeball where your body is only about as big as its pupil. That would be absolutely terrifying. But once again, it'd be visually terrifying, but the Peeper itself would be a docile Leviathan. It wouldn't try to hunt you. Or would it? But with that, that concludes the video. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to leave a like down below, and remember to subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, so you don't miss the next video. I got a couple more of these viewer requests coming, so stay tuned. And thank you all for your support. I finally broke 600 subs, and I'm absolutely astounded by all of your support. And once again, if you wish to support further, I do have a paypal.me in the description below, and I also have an Etsy store where I sell handmade pins like these up here, including the Gargantuan pin, which is meant to resemble Big Garg himself. And of course, I'm limiting these to only 20, so get them while you can. And with that, that concludes the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you on the next viewer-requested sculpture showcase.